My honest opinion on death, what I believe happens, and also why you shouldn't be afraid of it, because I'm not afraid of death anymore. And when I was younger, I made a TikTok about this a while ago. When I was younger, I used to lay there and cry at night, saying to my mum and sister, "Mum, what happens when you die?" 8-year-old Max, just being that guy that just scared of everything. But now I genuinely am not afraid of death, and here's exactly why. So before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell icon. And make sure you drop a comment saying I've subscribed so I can personally reply to each and every one of you as well. So this may be a touchy subject for quite a few people, but I wanted to do it because it was just playing on my mind. And I was like, I think people will want to know about this. Maybe this will be able to help people. Maybe it will be able to give some people some advice on death and stuff like that, and really help them understand what death is, and how I perceive it, and maybe how you can perceive it, so that it will be able to help you, and you won't be able to be as afraid, and you will be able to truly live before you actually die. Because it's so true. They say some people die twice. The first time when they give up on everything, and the second time when they're buried. And for me, you can't give up. You can't give up. Please do not give up on me. Do what you need to do and live your best life, please. We all deserve to, and you deserve to as well, especially. Oh yeah, especially you. So now that I've stopped, I'm going to give my honest opinion on what I believe death to be, why we shouldn't be scared of it, and also why you should truly live before you actually die. Now, death is inevitable. There's nothing we can do about it. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. There's a few things in life that are going to happen. You're going to breathe, you're going to be born, you're going to die. That's 3 things that are just going to happen. There's not much else that you can do towards it. That is just it. It is inevitable. So if something's inevitable, we have to choose to accept it. And one of my favorite analogies is, imagine you're on a plane and you hear from the pilot, "Mayday, mayday, mayday, we're going down, we're going down." What can you do? If you don't have a pilot license, you physically cannot fly that plane and land it safely. You just can't. If you survive, brilliant, amazing, like miracle. If you don't, that's something that we have to sort of accept. And as death is a part of life, we need to realize that it's not actually as scary as we think. Like what happens after death? No one really knows what happens. No one really knows, and I'm not going to claim to say that I know, because I don't. What I believe to happen and what I theorize is that our consciousness just moves on. What happens when you go to sleep at night? Sometimes you dream, sometimes you don't. What is it that's causing you to dream? Your body doesn't cause you to dream. You're not having physical sensations with your actual senses. So what's actually causing you to dream? Your consciousness, your mind. And your consciousness is actually outside of your brain. The science proves that. If your consciousness is still alive, it's like the spirit. So before it's probably known as the spirit, now it's probably known more as the consciousness. I like to call it consciousness. If your consciousness is still alive, then you are always going to live. Now, who knows? Like they say, we could be in a simulation. For all we know, we don't know, we may be. But what I'm saying is, the reason we're experiencing life is because we're experiencing it through our senses. When you're in a dream, you feel like you're experiencing it through your senses. So is a dream not just some form of simulation, essentially? Is it not? When you die, do you not just have dreams constantly? Are you not taken into another world? And it's like, I heard someone say, when you're born, you're welcomed by your family, you're welcomed by people. When you die, you're welcomed by those who have departed, whether that is spirit, whether that is consciousness. I don't know. I don't exactly know how it's going to happen. I don't know whether it is the fact you turn into a figure like yourself and you turn into like a ghost or something. I don't know. I really don't know. But what I do know is there's nothing... But what I do know is there's nothing to be scared of, because I believe that we pass on. And again, I don't exactly know how or what that means, but I know that we do pass on. And if we do pass on, what is there to be scared about? That doesn't mean we shouldn't live. That doesn't mean we shouldn't try our best. That doesn't mean we shouldn't do what we need to do on planet Earth, because I'm doing all I can to create a movement of happy and fulfilled people. I'm doing all I can to really impact millions and millions of people in this world. That is what I'm doing. And it gives me reason before I die. And it doesn't really matter what your beliefs are, but one of the biggest things is that you are gonna die, and something that we have to come to terms with. When I was always scared of death, that was all I was focused on. Why focus on something that hasn't happened when we can focus on life that is happening? Like, you are living right now. You are watching this video, you are living. So what can you do to make your life the best before you do one day die? The reason you may be fearful of dying, why I was, is because you haven't truly lived to your potential. Because they say, when things are going slow, the reason is because you are bored, you are not enjoying stuff, it is just, it's just dragging out, it's taking ages to finish. Whether that was school for me, school just took ages. Jobs, whenever I worked for someone, it took ages to finish the day. Now I believe that I've lived, I've said this, I would genuinely be okay with dying. Like, obviously I have so much I want to do and I haven't accomplished not even a quarter of what I want to do in this lifetime. But I would be okay because I know that I've lived to me. And I've said, I don't want to work for someone. I want to start a business. I want to impact people. And I have impacted people. I haven't impacted millions of people yet, but I have impacted people. I've had people message me and I've seen the testimonials from people I've worked with. So I know that what I've been able to do has really helped a lot of people. I've had people message me about like saying they wanted to commit suicide, and then they said they watched some of my videos and it really changed it for them. And that in itself is... it hits you in the heart, man. It hits you in the heart. But I think the fact that I have said what I'm gonna do, I've lived to my morals, I don't say one thing and live another, I practice what I preach kind of thing. I mess up a lot of the time, I screw up, I do things wrong, but I live to my morals, I live to my standards, which allows me to know that I'm truly living. And as I said, I've done a few things that I want to do in life, but not all of them. So I hope I can continue to live on as long as possible. My goal is, and I'm going to put it here, my goal is 120. I believe it's possible. I know it's possible. Can't Max. 120. The vegan diet, yoga, exercise, positive mindset, filling my mind with empowering and powerful education and material and songs and music and frequencies and great people around me. That's how I'm gonna do it. I'll be looking back to this video in 97 years, I think. Yeah, 97 years. I'll be looking back at this video saying, haha, yes, young Max, you got it right, my friend, you got it right. But it really comes down to a few things, and I believe if you really want to accept that it's part of life, it just realize that we can't ignore it. It's something that's going to happen, but also that we have to accept it. If you've truly lived, then it's okay to die. If you haven't truly lived, then of course you're not going to want to die because you haven't lived. So don't regret stuff. Really, truly, please do not regret stuff. Do not get to the point of your deathbed. And there's something called the deathbed theory where you imagine yourself laying on your deathbed and worrying about the things you're worrying about currently. Are they really going to matter on your deathbed? Or are you going to worry about, oh, I should have just taken that opportunity. I should have just tried to make videos on YouTube. I should have just tried to start that business. I should have asked that person out. I should have changed that one thing in my life. Don't should all over yourself. You should never should on yourself, because when you should on yourself, you just smell of should. You don't want to smell of should. You want to smell of greatness, compassion, gratitude, all those type of things. You want to really be grateful that you just took the opportunity. You want to be grateful that you just went for it, that you didn't say no, that you just said yes. And then you'll begin to realize that there's actually nothing to be scared about. Like I said, it's gonna happen one day. Could happen tomorrow. Could happen in 100 years. I don't know. But what I do know is if you start living today, death is not even going to worry you. You're not going to worry about how old you are. You're not going to worry about when it's going to happen. If you do all you can, because all you can do is all you can do. If you do all you can do, eventually that is going to be enough to get you to where you want to be. It's not going to be easy, but truly living is the key to unlocking the door to accepting that death is inevitable and accepting death in itself. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And that's really what I want people to understand. If you truly live, death is not an issue. If you're not truly living, then death is going to scare you. So ask yourself this question: what is it that you need to start doing today that is going to help you truly live? Because when you begin to truly live, it's part of life, and you begin to just push through. So that's really my perspective on death, and I really hope that this has given you some insight and some input. So I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you keep spreading love. I hope you begin to accept that death is a part of life and keep spreading positivity.